Hello. Are you having a good day today? Yeah? Well, fuck you, because we're playing Dark Souls 2. This game is old as fuck, but it's nostalgic for me to play it. It was my first Souls game. And after all these years, I've beaten it countless times, but only now just is it that I realized that I've never beaten New Game Plus or New Game Plus Plus. And that was... yeah, I felt pretty stupid too when I realized, because that's one of the main selling points of the game, compared to all the other titles, that New Game Plus and Dark Souls 2 is having some bonus enemies placed in various places. So I only know, like, I think some of the tutorial areas, so like, yeah, here we are, right? The falconers are right there, but other than that, I don't know. I've heard that there are some red phantoms further in the game, and also I've heard that New Game Plus Plus has even more bonus enemies, so that's pretty fucking cool. And not only that, what I've also never done before is play the game with a mundane build, which this build fucking sucks, to be quite honest. This build used to be at the beginning really fucking powerful, but with time they nerfed it a bit, and it's, well, I would much rather have a build based around dark damage or fire damage, you know, pyromancies and dark magic, because those perform much better than if I were to use some mundane weaponry. So yeah, that's about it. And also what sucks is that upgrading a mundane weapon almost doesn't do anything. Like a level of an upgrade on a mundane weapon makes you do like 2 points of damage more, which is, it just feels like such a huge waste of resources. So for now I'm testing the curved nil greatsword, because I've heard that it deals more damage the further your New Game Plus cycle is, so that's pretty interesting. And also, as you can see, if I hide it, I don't have that red aura around me anymore. And now I do. That's the effect of damage increase that this sword provides. So that's pretty freaking cool. And also, the one thing that is actually quite nice about the mundane build is that I have the perfect stats to use the Dark Majestic Greatsword. Well, actually, just Majestic Greatsword. It's just infused with Dark. So that's pretty freaking cool. I've used it before, as you might know already. You probably do, because this game is 10 plus years old. It gets an awesome moveset when you hold it in your left hand, because apparently Artorias was left-handed. So, I don't know, that's about it, I guess. Let's go see those falconers. I've heard that they have some pretty goofy animations. Huh. Bruh. Hey, that's pretty cool. It's such a shame that they are absent from the main game, and if you hit them, the hawk, the falcon should I say, reacts too, and also freaking dies because they share a hit point, they share health, fucking somehow. That's so stupid. What the fuck? Sunlight medal? Huh. That's cool, I guess. How many of those do I have? Only 2. That's really interesting. What the? Where's your falcon, my man? Yeah, so that's also pretty cool about Dark Souls 2, is that I think that pretty much anything in the game that you can imagine has a way of, like, you can farm it. Give me a second here. I think the game is a little too loud for my liking, so I made it quieter for me, but I'm gonna make it a little louder for you. Ah, there's no music in this area. I was just looking at the audio levels. Yo, were there always that many of them? I think there's more of them, more than usual. Oh yeah, rusted coin. Those might come in handy actually, because that's also one of the many weak points of Dark Souls 2, is that there are so many weapons. Damn! Red Phantoms! There are so many cool weapons in the game, but it really feels like they are really going cheap on you when it comes to upgrade materials. It almost feels mandatory that you have to farm them at some point. So yeah, it really fucking sucks, to be honest. But in the end, you know, that's my... I'm really nostalgic about this game. It's one of my all-time favorites. It isn't flawless, but there are a lot of things that it did really well. By the way, great curved swords have a really fast moveset. Damn, I can just dump my stamina like that and do 4 quick slashes. That's really good. If you want to go for high DPS, then it's really strong. Also, isn't it nice that I can just, you know, go to that ogre and kill him right away, instead of, you know, making a mental note that I have to come back here one day? So what's gonna happen now? Ho 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 ho. Dark Souls NPCs black. Ho 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 ho. You're gonna die, nigga. Ho 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 ho. Ha. No character creation. Alright. Holy shit, would I love to live in a house inside of a hollowed out tree like that. Got anything to say, babe? Nothing new. Can I afford to have a torch? Nope. Because that shield gives me a lot of bonus levels, so when I take it off, I don't have the stats for the weapon. Unless I two-hand it, but I need a torch here. Mundane washing pole. Why not? It's a tutorial area. Should be good enough. So yeah, if you're going for mundane, you don't really have to... I don't feel like upgrading anything, because the bonus that I get from upgrading is really negligible. Oh! Hello there. A red invader right at the start. Will you come down though? Or should I make you? Get down, Damas. I hope I'm gonna keep getting surprised like that, because so far I'm feeling pretty content with the amount of new enemies that we're getting here. So yeah, there are a couple of weapons that actually benefit pretty greatly from a mundane build. So for example, all those quick, short, little light weapons, well, all the weapons get pretty much the same bonus from being mundane. Therefore, it is the best choice is to infuse the fastest weapons with mundane, because the damage will be the same, but they are much faster. So fast, quick weapons, light weapons, or like this washing pole here, weapons that have something else going for them. So for example, the humongous range that this katana has. Because when it comes to that katana, it's a bit of a trade-off. It has lower damage and stagger and everything, but it has the length going for it. So it fits pretty perfectly into a mundane build idea. Which, wow, isn't that cool? How, you know, the longest katana isn't just the best katana, like in for example Elden Ring, where like, why would you ever use the normal Uchigatana in Elden Ring when you have all the same qualities except double the range on washing pole? I mean, I'm sure there are some minor differences, like, I don't know, 5 points of damage, but seriously, look at the length of this thing. So yeah, another win for the Dark Souls 2 fans. Stay coping. Hey you, guys, move. I'm gonna say it. Holy shit. Dark Souls 2 moment. Weapons break so fast in this game. So fun fact. Dark Souls 2 is coded... Sorry for that, my voice. Dark Souls 2 is coded in a pretty weird way. So this game was coded with it for it to be running at 30 FPS, not 60. And what happens is that when this game is running at 60 FPS instead of 30, weapons degrade twice as fast. They lose twice as many durability points when attacking, fucking somehow. How is it possible? I do not know. It's classic FromSoft B-Team spaghetti code, I guess. Okay, time to die. Ah, holy shit. Old jumping. Old Dark Souls jumping is such a hazardous activity. Yeah, I don't know how it works. But unless you're wearing that ring that enhances the durability, or rather it lowers the loss of durability, actually, that's how it works. Unless you're wearing that, halfway into the area that you're doing, your weapon will break. But, you know, actually, 99% of the time, I fucking hate item durability in games. Unless it really fits, like for example in Minecraft, I just cannot imagine a survival game that doesn't have item durability. That would just be weird. But I think Dark Souls 2 is to a degree a bit of an exception, because there's just so many weapons in this game. If the ones that you are using are starting to break and you have to switch weapons, then you are kind of forced to have to use something else, and it really isn't that much of a problem in Dark Souls 2, because like 1 or 2 backup weapons are easy to obtain and everything should be fine and dandy then. This place was always such a mystery to me. How are there so many bloodstains? People just... What the fuck? So everyone just keeps seppuku... I'm sorry, everyone just keeps committing sudoku here? Find a better pastime, buddy. Okay, so what I've noticed so far is that we don't have any fragrant branch of yore to unpetrify the guy in the tutorial area, which kinda sucks. These don't get passed down with the new game cycle. I had two, which is kinda interesting because when you're beating the game, you always feel like you don't have enough of them. There's always some statue that you had to leave still petrified. But by the end of the game, you have more than enough, which is kind of funny. I think those can be farmed, so maybe that's why I probably dropped them from some enemies. God, I love the music of this place, so nostalgic. I'm feeling like a little boy already.
Are you ordinary bearer of the... I will take...
Yeah, bearer seeks last. Get it, guys? 12 years of this shit. So yeah, she can level me up, but... Yeah, nothing can be done about the DS2 anymore. Wah, wah. Do I have to rejoin all the covenants or what? Oh shit. Oh, what? Right from the beginning. I think some of the Covenant progress I think Covenant progress gets passed through the New Game cycle. New Game Plus cycle. Yeah. Chop. Nesquik. By the way, I already completed the Covenant of Champions challenge, so I have the ring. I have the ring for the final level of that Covenant. The one that makes it so that your bare fists do much higher damage. So I'm not gonna be joining this, so the game should be a little easier. Usually I like to challenge myself with wearing that Covenant through the whole playthrough, but I'm getting old, man. I'm getting fucking old, so I don't feel like doing that anymore. I just wanna chill. I got my ring, so I don't have to get into that Covenant anymore. What's also cool is that from what I know, some NPCs will have additional items for trading, which is also really nice. Yet another reason to actually, you know, pull through and do the New Game cycle. Compared to the other poo-poo pee-pee games. In Dark Souls 3 you at least get some better rings to wear from the New Game cycle, from the New Game Plus. In Elden Ring you get nothing except duplicates of weapons from bosses. Holy shit. I think I have to aim a little to the right to hit those. What was the deal with those pigs? I think that if you kill them enough times, then the bigger pigs will appear, and when you kill those enough times, then the big boar will appear. Oh yeah, you might be wondering why am I talking in English? Well, because I felt like it. Since I'm already recording a game playing solo, I just felt like doing it in English as practice from my pronunciation. Because I think I'm a bit lacking in the pronunciation department. I mean, if I focus really hard, I can get all the pronunciations correct, I think. But what the fuck? Uh-oh. No. Okay, so we can expect new mimics. Isn't that something? Thanks, Miyazaki. Bruh. Huh. That so looks like an illusory wall. Bruh. But it isn't. Okay, so new mimics. I'm gonna have to be on my guard again. So yeah, I just want to practice my English pronunciation so that I can talk more fluidly instead of, you know, one word a minute. So what might end up happening is sometimes I might, you know, go or or you know, because I'm thinking. Because I have to, you know, rewire my brain to speak English instead of Polish. So if you don't know, I'm actually from Poland. I'm a native Pole. How quirky is that, guys? I'm from Poland. So yeah, since I'm already recording a let's play of an old ass game that no one cares about anymore except, I guess, me, I might as well use it as an opportunity to practice my English. Wowee. Hello, guy. He isn't new, I think. I think he was always spawning in this place. The ogres are so funny because they have really weird hitboxes on their fist attacks, but if you keep to their ass, it will make them just spam the ass attack, which is really easily avoidable if you just walk back a little. So yeah, if you know the trick to the enemy, then they suddenly... what the hell? Backstab's not working. If you know the trick to some enemies, then suddenly you realize that they are really weak. Actually, they aren't that much of a threat if you know how to deal with them. You know what I've always found interesting about this area and many other starter areas in FromSoft games is that it's actually quite tougher than the areas that come after it. I think the best example would be the beginning of Bloodborne. The Yarnam at the start is actually one of the toughest areas in the game for two reasons. One, you just started the game, so your character is really weak. But the other is that there's a billion gajillion zombie-like enemies. Like seriously, that FromSoft likes to do that. That the starter area is actually tougher than the second and third area. That's how I feel about it. You will see what I mean when we come up this ladder. If you fuck up and get attention of all these enemies, yeah, you're done, man. You're freaking done. There's tons of sleeping zombies on the ground, or should I say hollows? You can't call them zombies. These are hollows. Ladder guy, are you there? Yep. Sorry, pal. I'm the #1 Dark Souls. Yeah. Forgot how to jump in those old games. It's not triangle anymore. But yeah, you know what's crazy about Dark Souls 2 specifically is that there are some things and mechanics that Dark Souls 2 did much better than Demon Souls or Dark Souls 1 that didn't get implemented in the games that came after. Like the biggest, most important, I think, is bonfire aesthetics. Thanks to those, you don't have to build. If you don't want to, you don't have to beat the whole freaking game again to get the other item from a boss or a duplicate of a weapon from a boss. You can just beat the boss again, solo, and get it. Wowzers. How thoughtful. Compare that to fucking Elden Ring, in which like I beat Godfrey and I was like, wow, what a cool boss. I wish I had 2 of his awesome axes. I wish I could fight him solo again. I think I might want to beat him again solo, because you know I can get summoned, but I prefer to beat bosses solo. I like the challenge of going 1v1. I really liked his design, and it's like, oh, you wanna fight him again? Well, fuck you. You need to beat the whole fucking game again, because he's one of the last bosses of Elden Ring. Beat the whole fucking game again, buddy. Bruh. Fucking why? Not only that, Elden Ring in general is very backloaded when it comes to bosses. The unique bosses, not some dungeon bosses or something like. In the middle of the game, you will mostly be killing bosses that are just empowered versions of some enemies in the dungeons or something like that, and exploring the map. The strong, awesome, unique bosses like Godfrey, like Morgoth, Margit, Renala, Radan, and stuff. There are those in the game, of course, yes, but a lot of them are kinda backloaded into the very end of the game. So you beat the fire giant. Wait, actually not fire giant. So you do the sky area, forgot what it's called, but that's where the doggo... I forgot the... Malekith, yeah. So you beat Malekith, and you also have Placidius X in the same place. Oh shit, an invader. A real invader, bruh. No! Holy shit, someone is playing this game. I'm not alone. I'm shit at PvP, guys, I have to admit. Where is my... Fuck. I'm done. I'm done. Yeah. I'm so shit at PvP. If you are wondering, I changed my weapon because my curved needle sword was nearing being broken. So what was I talking about? Yeah, nearing the end of Elden Ring, you have Malikev, Placidusax, then you go to the burned down Ashen Leyndell capital, which is mostly empty, so it really isn't that much of an area at all. Then you have the all-knowing NPC guy, which, you know, it's an NPC fight, so it isn't all that cool, but he's pretty unique and really memorable. He has nice dialogue lines and he casts all kinds of spells. Then you have Godfrey, of course, classic guy. And right after him, the final boss, Radagon and Elden Beast. So yeah, for quite a long time you had no unique bosses at all, only exploring. But then at the end of the game, suddenly there's like 4 or 5 in a row. Okay. How could I even deal with an invader like that? Because yeah, from what I realize, thrusting swords are kind of the meta. They are fast, they deal good damage. Am I gonna have to whip out the ice rapier like everyone else? Like a scrub? I just might have to, because truth be told, I'm pretty shit at Dark Souls PvP. I play these games mostly for PvE. Partially because maybe, well, I'm not that good, maybe my build sucks. But in part because I don't feel like learning PvP in these kinds of games, because it looks stupid to me. Like if you've watched some Elden Ring invasions or duels PvP, you might realize that the most optimal way to play looks really fucking stupid. And what I mean is, in theory, you're playing this cool medieval fantasy game with swords and magic and stuff, but the optimal way to play is often opening your menu every 5 seconds and switching your gear and switching your weapons. And it looks just so stupid to me. The constant menu opening and switching weapons so that you can have a different weapon art or something. Or that you might get something that counters the enemy's build. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, I am not blaming them for doing it because, well, they wanna win, so they are doing what is optimal. But I'm blaming FromSoft, I guess, because no game should look that stupid. Like, imagine if I could compare it to like Skyrim. Like, imagine if someone was playing Skyrim and was opening the menu to eat some cheese wheels every 5 seconds to heal. Like, I get it, or potions or whatever. Like, I get it. It's funny, it works, and you can do it, absolutely. But if you are doing it all the time for the whole game, it looks fucking stupid. Like I don't think I have to elaborate further. It just looks fucking stupid, so I refuse to put too much time into learning the ropes of Dark Souls PvP. So yeah, I might just upgrade my ice rapier and use that, unless I don't have enough. What is it called? Equip load. Yeah. I thought that maybe I would equip some backup weapon or something. But it's all too heavy. Oh wow, ivory straight sword. Half a kilo. So if something is half a kilogram, I could use it then. Min-maxing. Nah, chimes won't do it. Okay, Acestus. What have I, 200? Yeah, it doesn't duplicate my Acestus like the newer games, so that's an L for DS2. Oh well. By the way, you can actually expect quite a lot of invasions to happen to me, because before going to the New Game Plus cycle, I've killed all the NPCs in my previous world, and so... oh, I can afford all of these, nice. And so I have the status of a sinner, and if you are a sinner, you get invaded much more often. Nice. Got this little fucker first try. When you are playing through this game with a new character, getting that little crystal lizard can be quite a bit of a pain because they are really small. And if your weapon doesn't have an attack that hits straight down, then yeah, you will probably miss, and the lizard will disappear. Kinda funny how we already had our first death to an invader, no less, but yeah. But it's cool that the invasions still can happen. All these years, and the PvP still works, the game is still active. What helps greatly, I think, is that in DS2 you can get invaded even if you've beaten the boss of the area. You are less likely to be invaded if you don't have a boss in your area, but you still can be. And also you can summon shades. You cannot summon phantoms, but you can summon shades. Even when there is no boss in the area. Which, once again, I don't know why they do not implement this mechanic anymore. that's the sole reason Dark Souls 2 is still alive, and Dark Souls 3 feels more dead than Dark Souls 2, which is kind of funny if you think about it. But yeah, playing through Dark Souls 2, I am pretty much sure to get invaded like at least a couple of times. Whereas in Dark Souls 3 you pretty much only get invaded in this silly area after Pontiff Sullivan, and that's about it. Other than that, it feels like the game is punishing you for beating the boss. Like, congratulations guy, you've beaten the boss. Now the invasions are dead. Haha. Happy now? No. Look, I don't even have to dodge. If you time it right, you don't have to even dodge these guys, you just have to backpedal a little, which is, surprisingly enough, a very good tactic in Dark Souls 2 for some enemies. Ah, my item. Wah, wah. But yeah, that's actually quite a topic to talk about in and of itself, because all those years ago when I was playing Dark Souls 2 for the first time, maybe I didn't read the tutorials enough with enough due diligence or something, but I never knew that there is such a thing as dodge frames, as iframes on your dodges, you know, invincibility frames. The brief period of invulnerability in your dodge. And so, because I didn't know that there is such a thing, I didn't use dodges all that often, because I felt like, why would I dodge just to reposition a little and still get hit? Doesn't make sense to me. So what I did is beat the game with a great shield instead, which is the easiest way to beat this game. You don't have to time your dodges and shit, you just have to hold the shield up. Which might sound funny if you want to make fun of Dark Souls 2, but this strategy is just as valid in any other Dark Souls game, especially Elden Ring. You get the fingerprint shield in Elden Ring, the Anspur rapier, so that you can poke and inflict Scarlet Rot and beat the entire game like that. It might be even easier in Elden Ring than in Dark Souls 2. But on the other hand, strafing isn't as strong in Elden Ring as it is here. There are quite a few enemies that you can beat by just walking to the side and they will miss you with all of their attacks. Holy shit, I've never talked so much before in my life. My throat hurts. give me. I'm gonna take a little break here from talking. Let's just kill some hollows, some holes. I really like the light and shadow mechanics, game mechanics, lighting and shadows in Dark Souls 2. They might not be the prettiest, but they are really unique. Like there's actually a reason to equip a torch. And the shadows look really shadowy. I don't know how to better explain it. Aww. I did that? But how? My weapon doesn't do fire damage. Weird. Huh. That's really weird. Poo-poo cloud. Wow! Shortcut time. Nah, why not? Let's try to beat Pursuer already. By the way, I had to use a couple of those spices thingies that let you lower the level requirements for spells, which is kinda nice, kinda handy. But as a trade-off, when you do that, you lower the potency of the spell too. Which makes sense, to be honest, but I lowered the stat requirements for affinity, I think a little too low, and look, only 2 orbs. Aren't you supposed to get like 5? This is so bad. Can I buff this weapon? No, I can't. Let's try the Dark Fog. Wow, so hard. Yeah, Pursuer moment. There are some attacks, like this one. Just walk a little to the right and you will dodge it. You will evade it without dodging. Easily. This combo is deadly though. His shield strike is really odd. I can never dodge it properly for some reason. His shield attack feels like it has some lingering hitboxes or something. Or maybe I just had really low ADP, and that's why. And that's it. Holy shit, my head is spinning from strafing so much. Ah! Don't make me strafe anymore, guys. I'm gonna have motion sickness now. Let's use the cestus for a bit. By the way, that's how you pronounce it, right? Cestus? Because I've heard some people say Cestus? Caestus? Sounds Latin. Caestus. Hidden area. What's nice about Cestus is that it deals strike damage, and strike damage, for some reason, is much better than any other type of damage in this game. Unless the enemy is somehow resistant to strike damage, but I don't know of any such enemy. Like, there are some enemies that are neutral or weak to strike damage, but I don't remember any enemies being resistant to strike damage. Out of all the physical damage types in the game, strike is the best one, hands down. It always works. Whereas thrusting damage is really funny because sometimes the enemy is weak to it, sometimes it's resistant, but then but then there are skeletons. And I don't know if you know, but if you use a thrusting weapons against skeletons and you get like a critical attack, you know, the backstab or something like that, you will deal absolutely minimal damage. I think it's like 50 damage, which is nothing to the skeleton. The logic here, I think, is that you are trying to thrust into an enemy that is full of holes, you know, a skeleton. Like you try to thrust a thrusting sword, your S-stock or something into it, and you just freaking miss because it went in between his ribs. Which is something that I really like. It's really funny. There should be more things like that. Enemies hard countering the player like that sometimes, like, you know, like you're playing the game as a pyromancer, for example, and suddenly, oh, there are enemies that are pretty immune to fire. Totally. That's really funny, but I am not a fan of when it happens the other way. It might sound weird to say, but I am not a fan of a situation where the player figures out some weakness of some enemy and it turns an enemy that used to be pretty challenging into an absolute joke. I think it's stupid when it happens, and I don't think there are many examples of that in Dark Souls 1, 2 or 3. But I know of some examples in Elden Ring. I'm sure you know, if you know Elden Ring, I'm sure you remember those giant creeping hands with too many fingers enemies. I think those are so cool. They are so unique in their design and interesting in how they attack and move and fight and everything. I might be in the minority here for liking them so much, but yeah. I really liked fighting them on my first playthrough, but on my second playthrough I used fire against them, and what do you know? If you hit them with a fire attack, they start flailing on the ground, and you can just hit them for free a couple of times, which usually will kill them, or at least weaken them greatly enough so that it's not a challenge anymore at all. And I think hard counters like that against enemies are pretty stupid. Oh shit. He read. Ah! That's not an enemy. That's not any enemy. That's an invader type enemy. It's not a player, but he has the stats of a player. Yikes. Chokehold. Get choked, my nigga. Ow. This place is fucked up. What is he using? A straight sword and some knife? I didn't expect an NPC invader type enemy in here. But even without him, this place is pretty tough. Like for a new playthrough. There's like 5 soldiers here all coming at you at the same time. Which once again is something that FromSoft likes to do for some reason. Make the starter areas really tough because of how many enemies they spam at you. Classic FromSoft. This one is trapped. Poison. You know what's funny? I don't know if you know the guy, Ouroboros the ninja, but I don't think he uses the ninja title anymore. You probably know him because he's one of the most popular FromSoft gamers out there, and he got tricked by one trapped chest too many in his first playthrough of Dark Souls 2. He got tricked one time too many, and he decided that he will just keep destroying all the chests he comes across if they can be destroyed. He would just, keep attacking until it breaks like that. But if you do that, if you didn't open it first and you destroy it like that, you also destroy the loot inside, and you will loot rubbish, like actual item called rubbish, which is worth a single soul point. So pretty much nothing, actually. And what's interesting to me is that he beat the whole game like that. And not even once did it occur to him that, every time I break a chest, I get rubbish. It never occurred to him. He would just loot the chest, get rubbish, and be like, "Ah man, rubbish again, alright." and move on. Which, luckily, the creators of the game thought ahead, and some chests that contain really important items or really valuable items are made out of metal, so you cannot destroy them on accident. Thank God. I'm gonna change my weapon. Oh, Dark Drift. Hell, why not? And I'm also going to equip some other backup weapon for funsies. By the way, this spear is fucking awesome on a dark build, because no one... I very often catch people off guard with the second heavy attack. That's the first one. Phew. The second heavy attack, the quick thrust, it's really good. It catches people off guard very often. For now, I'm feeling like using Dark Drift. Excuse me, Dark Drift. It's very dark. It's so dark you can barely see it. Whoa! How does it work? Shield piercing, strong attack. Yeah. Nice. My name is Pate. Great bait, Pate. I have enough flame butterflies, but this is so close, I might as well get back to it and save up on a butterfly. So yeah, breaking all the chests, pretty funny. For this area, actually, I would much rather use something with a wide attack. Great swords were up here, yeah. You know what's funny to me too? A lot of people go inside this place, the door closes behind them, and they get mad at Pate because they think he did it. But if you talk to him and you actually fucking listen to him, he tells you that it will happen. He says there's treasure inside, but the door gets locked from behind. Someone went in before you and that happened to them. And people apparently don't listen to him at all. Because they get in, they get trapped, and they get angry at Pate. Which I think they intended. I think they expected it to happen. The creators, I mean. Because that's exactly the story of what happened between Pate and Kraton of Mira. Kraton got trapped in some place and is now hunting down Pate for screwing him over. Which really is it's so well made. Like, it fits so much. Some people like to debate whether, was Pate in the right and they got into a fight, or was Kraton in the right? No, it's clear. It's obvious. Kraton fell into a trap, but thought that Pate did it even though he didn't, and that's exactly what happens to most of the players. That's so fucking funny to me, man. But also kinda sad, like, it's clear that people don't fucking listen to to the NPCs. And from what I know, Pate is voiced by the same guy that did the voice of Patches, which is really quite incredible to me, because I would never have realized if no one told me. Personally, I don't hear any resemblance, but that's a good thing. That's the point of being a voice actor, is that you can do many different voices. If your voice actor is too easily recognizable, then they are a bad voice actor, in my opinion. The point of voice acting is to have many voices, not a single voice. That everyone knows. Which is why it's so fucking stupid that lately a lot of like animating studios and such hire well-known celebrities to do the voice acting for their characters, and it's obvious, it's clear that the actor isn't that good at voice acting, because it's still acting, but it's very different kind of acting. You have to actually be, you know, good with your voice. Like what happened with Chris Pratt being voiced as Super Mario. Like, what the hell? Whose decision was it? Bro, that's fucking Chris Pratt. How the hell are you going to try to make him sound like an Italian? And why him? Like, they must have paid... uh-oh. Damn. Thanks for not following up. I got tricked. Yeah, they had to pay a lot of money to him because he's a very famous person. Only for him to just so that they can say that, wow, look guys, we have Chris Pratt in here. Who fucking cares, man? I mean, some people care, but they shouldn't. That's stupid. What the hell? Did you see that? Some hollow soldier ran by, bruh. Where did he go? So far, there aren't as many new enemies and red enemies as I hoped for. But when you finally meet one, it's really scary actually. They are pretty tough. I actually kinda hope I get invaded more often. to keep things fresh and stuff. By the way, you might be wondering, why am I using such foul language? Because I like to. Sorry. I don't know how many times this now. Please buy something. Nesquik. Should I do the last giant already? I don't see why not, but I'm also kind of thinking, won't it lock me out of something? I beat him and I get the key? Nah. I think I'm free to go. Oh, 2 summon signs. Oh wow, paid. Okay. Yeah, this one I remember, the double great shield. But I forgot that, yeah, you can summon paid here. Woo! Nah, we can beat him solo. Nah, I'd win. Whoa! I kinda didn't mean to skip. That was an accident. Whatever. What the hell? Nice sound effects. Easy. Wait, weren't I supposed to get some kind of a key? I got his soul. Was there a key in there somewhere that I overlooked? Whoops. I guess we will find out when I try to open a door. Not this one though. Yep. I think the key to this door is found much later in the game. In the Iron Keep, I think. Bing, bang. Soldier key, yeah. Why am I fat rolling? Oh, right. Why is this weapon so freaking heavy? Oh wow, ew. This one too, what the hell, man? I'm gonna switch to the Chaos Rapier. Yeah, the Chaos Rapier, one of the iconic weapons of the mundane but also dark and pyromancy builds. A fire rapier. What's not to love? Know what's interesting about this weapon though? It's better to leave it uninfused. What the... Damn! Double the guys? One would be enough, come on! Don't backstab me, bro. Okay, one got poisoned. Shit, that was a bad idea. Oh, they got poisoned. Both of them. That's the same guy with a sword and a dagger. The other is a different though. It's a Cyan Knight set. Frick. Wait, actually, I was supposed to say bad things. Fuck! What's that shield though? Is that the Cyan shield? I really do not recognize it at all. Huh. But holy shit, they aren't pulling any punches. Two guys at the same time. I can take two guys at the same time. But not like that. Heh heh heh. Heh. Let me go through. Oh, he got poisoned too, the Cyan Knight near the gate. Oh! I didn't know it knocked back. That's freaking awesome. The heavy attack of the two-handed Nil Greysword. That's gonna come in handy. No, not the free aiming, no! I kinda hate free aiming. I always forget that it exists. Whoa! He dropped something. Huh. Knight armor +5. Bruh. By the way, getting a Grand Lance here is fucking insane. In the release version of the game, without Scholar of the First Sin, you didn't get the Grand Lance until very much later in the game. And getting it... And they've put it here in the Scholar of the First Sin edition, and it's such an insane... it's such an insane decision to me to put it here, of all places. It's one of the strongest, best weapons in the game, with great damage, nice moveset, piercing damage, so it can counterattack. And they've put it right at the beginning of the game. For free, and it's not like you have to farm it even or something. It's a guaranteed loot from a corpse that you just know. You just have to, you know, find it. I'm not sure, but if there is someone out there doing like speedruns of Dark Souls 2 or something, well, maybe not anymore, but you know, a few years back, I bet you 1,000 billion gajillion Monopoly dollars that a lot of them were using the Grand Lands for a big part of the playthrough. Right, back to Neil Greatsword. You know what, actually I'm gonna have to take my medicine. Pills here, be right back.